Her mateys. This is Mr. Michelson. Just want to walk you through what your argument essay assignment is all about. So, the assignment, of course, is considering symbolism. You're designing and creating a Jolly Roger for one of the characters in the novel. We talked about that. You hopefully have a flag ready to go, and we'll go to the next step to write an argumentative essay defending your symbolic choices. So you're thinking about colors, images. You might even think about some other things like the size or the shape of the flag. And hopefully the flag that you've created is something that you feel represents the character pretty well. So the essay is to write a multi-paragraph argument essay that begins with an introduction describing the character. You'll end your introduction with a thesis that states why the attached Jolly Roger is the best design for the character. That's really your thesis. This is the best flag to represent this character. And then in the following paragraphs, you'll defend those symbolic choices for colors, images, and perhaps other things that you've created with your flag. Each paragraph should use CER to defend one aspect of the Jolly Roger. Hopefully you're familiar a little bit with claim, evidence, and reasoning from 6th grade. If not, please do reach out to your language arts teacher and we can give you a brief overview of what that's all about. But I think it's pretty self-explanatory, especially as you get into working on this essay. Being that this is your first CER essay, your first real formal writing, we want you to do your best on this and get any help that you might need to make sure that you can do your best. One thing you could do is to check out this example here. This is the only other thing that we've read besides Treasure Island this year so far, which is called Papa's Parrot. We read that earlier this year. And we've just got a CER here all about a flag that might represent the character of that story called Mr. Tillian. So my claim here, the C, is the flag includes a broken blue heart at its center to represent Mr. Tillian's feelings about his relationship with his son, Henry. Might remember that from the story. Then you want to include some evidence from the story. So I'll talk a little bit about what happened in that story. When Henry has to return to the candy and nut shop after Mr. Tillian's medical emergency, he hears Rocky the parrot's cries of, "Where's Harry?" and realizes that his father has been missing him since he stopped visiting after school. Then you want to go into your reasoning. So you want to do a little bit more explanation, talk about that evidence, really go into detail about what it means and connect it to that claim that you made. So here we see, clearly, the broken heart represents Mr. Tillian's sadness about the changing nature of his relationship with his son. When Henry stopped visiting the shop after school, Mr. Tillian desired a companion. As the reader and Henry learn, Mr. Tillian must have expressed his remorse to his feathered companion on a regular basis. The blue color, often associated with sadness, helps to emphasize the sadness implied in the symbol of the broken heart. So, maybe not the greatest of paragraphs, but you kind of get a sense of the claim, the evidence, and then really going into detail, really laying it all out there with the reasoning. When you use CER, you can have more than one piece of evidence if it helps you to prove your claims. If you want to do a CER or something like that, you're more than welcome to go above and beyond. Your evidence can be a paraphrase of the events from the novel as you get into thinking about Treasure Island, or you could even, and we would encourage you to try to use at least one actual quoted passage in your essay for that evidence piece. On this assignment, there are some sample essays, so you can certainly check out those links to the sample essays if you need some models to kind of work with. And as you get into this, we want you to, since this is your first real formal writing, we'd like you to outline your work. So you can use the graphic organizer on the next page to guide you. It looks something like this. If you want to kind of do this on your own Google Doc or something, that would work just fine. Or even if you want to use a notebook or anything, follow that, and that might help you to get the structure and kind of the bones of your essay. Or you could use this length outline here. This will make a copy of an outline that looks just like this to help you organize your thoughts. So here you can type it all up, and this kind of leads you through a little bit. You might notice here there's a couple different paragraphs to outline. The third CER paragraph is optional, and then you'll have the conclusion. So if you want to do 3 CER paragraphs, that's great. If you have 3 big significant things on your flag to talk about, that's great. If you have even more things on your flag than 3 things, you might want to just focus on the main, most important symbols that you used, and the ones that you could talk the most about. So that's the outline. If you have other questions, please talk to your language arts teacher. We're going to plan on next class sharing our flags with one another, and then we'll to get some feedback on our outlines so that we can actually get writing these essays and get them all done and then move on to other things. So thank you so much for listening, and reach out if you have any questions. Have a good one.